The fork clattered against my plate like a gunshot in the quiet dining room, echoing off the faded wallpaper that had peeled in the corners from years of neglect. My mother's words hung in the air, sharp as shattered glass. "Nobody needs your money or you, Alex. We've managed just fine without your handouts." Her voice, usually soft and pleading when the bills piled up, now dripped with venom, her eyes cold and unyielding under the dim chandelier light. Beside her, my father nodded, his calloused hands folded on the tablecloth stained with old wine spills. His silence a louder betrayal than any shout. And my sister Lisa, Lisa, leaned back in her chair with a smirk, her manicured nails tapping the edge of her glass. "He's right, Mom. Alex thinks his fancy job makes him better than us. But we're done pretending." I felt it then, a visceral punch to the gut, like the air had been sucked from my lungs. My face burned, not just from humiliation, but from the raw fury bubbling up, hot and uncontrollable. The roast beef I'd slaved over in their outdated kitchen turned to ash in my mouth. How many times had I wired money for Dad's medical bills, paid off Lisa's student loans, even bought this damn house to keep them from foreclosure? And now this. I wanted to scream, to flip the table and watch the gravy splatter across their smug faces. But I didn't. I sat there, frozen, my heart hammering against my ribs, the room spinning in a haze of betrayal. The drive home that night was a blur of rain-slicked streets and honking horns, the city lights streaking like tears across the windshield. My knuckles whitened on the steering wheel as I replayed the scene over and over. "Nobody needs your money or you." It wasn't just words. It was a knife twisted in the back after years of carrying them on mine. I pulled over on the shoulder of the highway, the engine idling like my ragged breaths, and let the sobs come. Ugly, choking things that left me hollow. Heartbreak wasn't poetic. It was this, snot-nosed and alone in a luxury car I'd bought with blood, sweat, and skipped vacations. By the time I stumbled into my apartment, the high-rise overlooking the glittering skyline I'd clawed my way to, resentment had taken root. I poured a scotch, the amber liquid burning down my throat, and paced the polished hardwood floors. Memories flooded in unbidden. Dad's gruff thanks when I'd covered his heart surgery, Mom's tearful hugs at Christmas with envelopes stuffed with cash, Lisa's excited calls about her new apartment I'd co-signed. I'd given everything, my time, my dreams deferred, to keep the family afloat after Dad's factory closed. And for what? To be discarded like yesterday's trash. Denial crept in first, a whisper in the back of my mind. Maybe it was a bad day. Maybe they were lashing out at their own failures. But no, the way Lisa agreed, her eyes gleaming with something like triumph, that wasn't spontaneous. Felt rehearsed, calculated. I sank onto the leather couch, staring at the family photo on the mantel. Us at the beach years ago, before success made me the outsider. Was I really the villain here? The one who'd escaped the small-town trap, built a tech empire from nothing, only to be resented for it. Sleep evaded me that night, my mind a storm of fantasies. I imagined storming back, cutting them off cold, watching the house foreclose, Lisa's car repossessed, their pleas falling on deaf ears. Justice sweet and sharp. But doubt slithered in. Was I overreacting? They were family blood. Guilt twisted like a knot in my chest. Had I lorded my success over them? No, I'd been discreet, helpful. Yet the anger won out, hardening into obsession. By dawn, as the first light filtered through the blinds, I knew. I wouldn't let this slide. Revenge wouldn't be rash. It would be precise, a slow unraveling of their illusions. The next morning I called in sick to work. Unheard of for me, the CEO who never missed a board meeting. Instead, I brewed coffee in my sleek kitchen, the aroma mingling with a faint scent of leather from my briefcase, and began digging. Subtle at first, logging into the family accounts I'd set up. The mortgage payments I'd automated, still flowing. Lisa's credit card, the one I'd guaranteed, racked up with spa days and designer bags. Dad's pension supplements, funneled through my company. It was all there, a web of dependence they'd just denied. I leaned back in my desk chair, the city humming below, and let the resentment fester. Why now? What had changed? A quick search on my laptop revealed nothing overt, but a nagging suspicion grew. Lisa had been distant lately, her texts curt. And Mom's voice. There was an undercurrent of relief in her cruelty, like shedding a burden. I fantasized about exposing it all. Public posts on social media. Anonymous tips to their small-town gossip mill. But no, that was too crude. Revenge needed to sting where it hurt most. Their pride, their secrets. Over the following weeks, the obsession consumed me. Mornings blurred into nights of planning, my apartment a fortress of solitude. I skipped gym sessions, meals turning into takeout wrappers scattered like confetti. Inner conflict raged. One moment I'd stare at old photos, guilt gnawing at me. They raised you, Alex. The next, fury would surge, visions of their downfall fueling me. I started small, testing the waters. I forgot to transfer Lisa's monthly allowance. Her call came 2 days later, her voice honey-sweet over the phone. Hey bro, did the wire get delayed? Rent's due. I gripped the receiver, my office overlooking the bustling streets below, the honks faint through the glass. Oh, must be a glitch, I lied, my tone even. I'll check. But I didn't. Let her sweat. The satisfaction was intoxicating. A cold resolve settling in my veins. Doubt flickered, was this petty? But no, it was justice. They'd said nobody needed me. Fine. Prove them right piece by piece. Subtle hints emerged in our sparse conversations. Mom mentioned a new opportunity vaguely. Her laugh forced during our weekly check-in. Dad grumbled about old friends helping out. Lisa posted cryptic updates online. Photos of lavish dinners, tagged with unfamiliar names. Suspense built like a tightening coil. I sensed a hidden motive, something they'd orchestrated behind my back. Was there an inheritance I'd overlooked? A business deal using my connections? I hired a private investigator discreetly, the kind who blended into shadows. His report arrived via encrypted email, the sterile office lighting casting long shadows as I read. Lisa had been meeting with investors. My investors, pitching a startup idea suspiciously similar to my company's tech. Mom and Dad. They'd sold family heirlooms I'd restored, pocketing the cash. Betrayal deepened, layered like sediment. Not just rejection, theft of my lifeblood. Moral conflict tore at me. Revenge felt justified, but what if it destroyed them utterly? I paced my balcony, the wind whipping my hair, city lights twinkling like distant stars. Fear crept in, what if they fought back? Exposed my own skeletons. But obsession won. I began plotting in earnest. Anonymous leaks to derail Lisa's pitch, financial maneuvers to expose their debts. Quiet, strategic. The tension simmered, every day a step closer to the edge. One evening, as rain pattered against the windows, Lisa showed up unannounced. She stood in my doorway, drenched, her makeup smudged. Alex, we need to talk. Her voice trembled, but her eyes, sharp, calculating. I let her in, the air thick with unspoken rage. What's going on with the money? She demanded, shaking off her coat onto my pristine rug. I poured us drinks, the clink of ice masking my pounding heart. You tell me, sis. Mom and Dad made it clear. Nobody needs me. My words were calm, but inside, fury roared. She fidgeted, avoiding my gaze. That was a misunderstanding. Things are tight, okay? Dad's pride got the better of him. Ways, I could smell them. But I played along, probing gently. New opportunities, huh? Like your startup. Her face paled, a flicker of guilt. Suspense hung between us, heavy as fog. She deflected, but her words revealed cracks. Hints of a plan to cut me out, to claim independence on my dime. As she left, promising to fix things, I knew the retaliation was inevitable. Cold resolve hardened. No more doubt. They'd started this war. End it. The weeks blurred into a haze of preparation. I gathered evidence, emails, bank statements, building a dossier like a detective in a noir film. Inner thoughts raced. Fantasies of their regret, mixed with pangs of heartbreak. What if I lost them forever? But resentment drowned it out. Subtle moves escalated. I cancelled joint accounts, whispered tips to mutual contacts. Tension rose, quiet but palpable. Phone calls went unanswered. Their voices, when they came, edged with worry. Finally, the breaking point. A family gathering invitation arrived. Thanksgiving, neutral ground. Accepted, heart-stealing. This would be the stage for the first act of vengeance. As I drove back to the old house, leaves crunching under tires, the atmosphere thickened. Suspense coiled tight. They had no idea what was coming. The house loomed like a ghost from my past, its porch light flickering in the autumn dusk, casting elongated shadows across the overgrown lawn. I parked my car, a sleek black sedan that screamed success amid their rusted pickups, and stepped out, the crisp air biting my skin. Inside, the scent of turkey and stuffing assaulted me, a mocking reminder of forced normalcy. Mom greeted me at the door, her apron dusted with flour, but her hug was stiff, eyes darting away. "Glad you came, Alex." Her voice wavered, laced with unspoken tension. Dad sat in his recliner, newspaper in hand, grunting a hello without looking up. Lisa lounged on the couch, scrolling her phone, her smile too bright, too false. "Hey, big bro, long time." The room hummed with suppressed rage, mine, simmering beneath a facade of civility. We sat for dinner, the table set with mismatched plates, the chandelier's bulbs half burnt out. Small talk flowed like molasses. Weather, sports, anything but the elephant in the room. I waited, biding my time, the food tasteless on my tongue. Inner conflict raged. Guilt at the impending storm, obsession fueling the fire. Finally, as pie was served, I struck. "So, about last time," I said casually, fork poised. "Nobody needs me, right? I've taken that to heart." Silence descended, thick and electric. Mom's knife scraped her plate. Dad cleared his throat. Lisa's eyes narrowed, a hint of fear. "What do you mean?" asked, voice small. I leaned back, cold resolve masking the heartbreak twisting inside. "I've stopped the payments. All of them. Mortgage, loans, allowances." Gasps echoed. Dad's face reddened. "You can't do that," he bellowed, slamming his fist. But I could, and I had. The satisfaction was bittersweet, layered with doubt. Was this me, vindictive, cruel? Lisa jumped in, her tone manipulative. "Alex, come on. We were upset. Dad's been struggling and I needed space." Lies again. I pulled out my phone, projecting the investigator's report onto the wall via a portable device I'd brought. Bank transfers, meetings with my rivals, sold heirlooms. Space. Or my ideas. My connections. The room erupted. Accusations flying, secrets spilling. Mom broke first, tears streaming. "We thought you'd understand. Lisa's idea was brilliant. We just needed seed money without strings." Heartbreak hit me anew. Their betrayal wasn't impulse. It was premeditated. Dad admitted gruffly. "We felt like charity cases. Wanted to stand on our own. But using me. Stealing." Suspense peaked as I revealed more. Anonymous emails I'd sent to Lisa's investors, exposing her plagiarism. Her face crumpled, rage flashing. "You bastard. You'll ruin me." She lunged, but Dad held her back. The air crackled with tension, every word a step toward the abyss. I stood, voice steady despite the storm inside. "You said nobody needs me. Prove it." As I walked out, rain starting to fall, guilt gnawed. Had I gone too far? But resentment pushed me on. The drive back was silent, save for my pounding heart. Obsession morphed into fear. What if they retaliated? Days turned to weeks of eerie quiet. No calls, no pleas. Suspense built slowly, subtle signs. A hacked email attempt on my accounts, traced to Lisa's IP. Whispers in professional circles, tarnishing my name. They were fighting back, shadows in the dark. Inner thoughts conflicted. Pride in my stand, horror at the fracture. I fortified my life. Changed passwords, hired security. each step heightening the paranoia. One night, as snow blanketed the city, a knock echoed. Lisa, bundled in a coat, eyes red-rimmed. "We need to end this." She stepped in, the warmth of my apartment contrasting her chill. Dialogue unfolded naturally, revealing layers. Her jealousy of my success, born from childhood favoritism I'd never seen. "You were always the golden child," she spat, voice breaking. "I had to scrape for everything." Guilt surged. Had I been blind? But her next words twisted the knife. "Mom and Dad, they knew about the startup. Encouraged it. Said you'd never notice." More betrayal, deeper than I'd imagined. Tension rose as she pleaded for mercy, but suspicion lingered. Was this manipulation? I almost relented, heartbreak winning. But then a text from my investigator. Proof of their latest scheme. A lawsuit claiming emotional distress, funded by pawned family jewels. Rage reignited. "Get out," I whispered, cold as ice. The climax built to a fever pitch. I countered with my own move. A press release exposing their fraud, timed for maximum impact. Lisa's startup crumbled. Creditors swarmed the house. Poetic justice, yet morally gray. I'd become the monster they accused me of being. Then the twist. A late-night call from Mom, voice frail. "Alex, there's something you need to know." She confessed, a hospital bed revelation. Dad wasn't my biological father. An affair years ago, hidden to protect me. The rejection. A misguided attempt to push me away before the truth surfaced, fearing I'd abandon them. Lisa's agreement. Born from her own resentment as the real child. Shock floored me, the phone slipping from my hand. Heartbreak, resentment, all reframed. My revenge. It had unraveled a lie, but at what cost? As sirens wailed outside, I realized the unexpected consequence. Isolation, profound and echoing. I'd won the war but lost the family, or what was left of it. Guilt consumed me, a cold resolve shattered. In the end, betrayal begot betrayal, and revenge's price was my soul.